misunderstood expressions and assumptions. This happens to me, and it also happens to other people who are on the autistic spectrum, but their speech is quite fluid. They seem to articulate well, but then they have these subtle differences where their voice tones don't exactly match what they're saying in a typical way that you would expect. They seem under-expressive or over-expressive. The facial expressions don't seem to completely match what they're saying. It's because our brain processes are working a little differently, even though we're quite fluid in our speech, which can be called hyperlexia. I've done videos about that before. But basically, we get so horribly misunderstood, and this is really bad when, in my case, like with medical doctors and trying to fundraise and things like that, and trying to raise awareness, like, I can't seem to get past, or some people can't get past my divergent difference in my execution of my expressions, even though that execution is subtle. It just makes me come off as someone who's weird and eccentric, but people might judge me as a bad person, that I'm creepy or a liar or like not genuine. It's really hurtful because that's the typical stuff that, that's typical in terms of a misperceived impression that happens when people are on the autistic spectrum, subtly, and they can speak fairly well, and people just don't get it. I have feelings, and I have real struggles, and just because I'm personality divergent doesn't mean that I'm personality disordered. That's what I'm trying to say. And so overall, I feel that the reason why I've been like pretty defensive when it comes to, I guess I've kind of hurt myself and wasted a lot of time and energy in the past being pretty defensive of my when it comes to people being judgmental of me. And the fundamental reason for that is the fact that I don't feel it's fair, because I don't feel that they really understand what I'm trying to say, and what's really going on inside of me when they're judging. I feel like the judgment is coming from an unfair misinterpretation and misperception of what they think they see when they hear me speak and, see my expressions and judge my actions and what I do. I don't think, I mean, sometimes that's not true. Like sometimes people have constructive criticism for me that is fair. And when it is fair, I've taken it and thought about it and been like, okay, yeah, I'm being too obsessive about that. Or, okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. Like sometimes, yes, it's on me, for sure. But there's a lot of the times that it's not. It's misunderstood. And so that's why I think I felt so defensive. But I realize in the end, now that like my life is at stake and I really can't afford to waste time stressing over what people don't get, realize that I can't control, a lot of this. Like all I can do is do what I'm doing right now and say a final word on it, which makes me feel better because it provides me with this closure that I've, stated what is and what isn't. And I've stated my truth, and that's all I can do. I can't control what people might, judge, right? And I know who I am, and I know where I'm coming from. And if people misinterpret where I'm coming from, I can't do anything more about it. Not everybody does misinterpret. It depends on whether they can kind of look through their fingers, look through my divergence and my differences and my eccentricities and my atypical ways of dealing with things and doing things, and going about things. If they can't, a lot of people do look past it because they realize that I seem genuine overall, even if I am idiosyncratic. But some people don't get that and misjudge me, and I can explain to the best of my ability, which that's a bit iffy sometimes, but um, I have ups and downs too in my ability to articulate. Like, I can struggle and struggle and struggle trying to explain something, and then there's this video here where I finally feel like I've explained it well, compared to when I've attempted to explain it other times. And I think what's really interesting about that is that I'm more at peace with it now. I'm not as upset. I'm not flooded with angsty, defensive feelings. And that actually totally allows me to be able to articulate it better. And I think that's just the art of communication when you're feeling, like more confident and, there's something going on in your psyche that is of a positive nature. You can articulate better, you can communicate better. So I hope that I communicated that properly this time, and that's my final word on it. And I hope it might help other, hyperlexic, autistic people like myself and their family and friends. Thanks.